All right, welcome back to the channel. We got a big update as a new champion has been named. And upon his next fight, Gervonta Davis will have solidified his position way up top, very close to the top of the pound for pound discussion in boxing. I don't care what anybody else says, as Mario Barrios is now the WBC world champion. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, 147-pound division, and because we got to talk about this, as news has come out that Gervonta Davis's former opponent, Mario Barrios, is now the full WBC world champion, and the ramifications of that on the conversations that we have about who the best fighter in the world is. And Gervonta Davis's name, in my opinion, is I already have him at my number at my number 2 pound for pound guy. I have him number 2. Now, for everybody that's going to get upset about Alexander Usyk, before you do that, I do not put heavyweights, and I do not care if they were at cruiserweight. I don't put heavyweights on pound for pound lists because that is an insult. In my opinion, it is an insult and a downgrade of the heavyweight champions, because the heavyweight champion is not in a weight class. You can weigh whatever you want in a fight at heavyweight. And so I don't get, nor will I ever participate in downgrading and pairing a guy that has to fight somebody that can outweigh him by 50 pounds. And then say, because a guy fights in a single weight class, that person in a single weight class is pound for pound better than a guy that's beating people that outweigh him by 30 pounds, 40 pounds. I've yet to see any of these guys that they put on pound for pound list do what Alexander Usyk did, which is weigh in at 220 and fight a guy that's close to 270. If he slimmed down to 260 for that fight, the guy he fought will be at 270 the next fight. That is a 50-pound weight advantage for that guy, and you actually have to beat him, and he's going to have to beat him twice. That's just the best fighter in the world. Anyway, that said, that's why I don't put Alexander Usyk on there. But now that Gervonta Davis has a singularly exceptional statistic on his resume, it should be pointed out. People continually say, when they talk about Gervonta Davis, who did he fight? Who did he fight? Who did he fight? Who did he fight? Nonstop. He never fought anybody. This guy's garbage. Let's count these people now. Gervonta Davis at 130 pounds beat Jose Pedraza. Jose Pedraza, who was the 130-pound IBF champion when Gervonta Davis beat him. After Gervonta beat him, Jose Pedraza goes to 135 pounds and beats Ray Beltran to become the WBO lightweight champion. That's one. Gervonta Davis defends a title against Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero moves up to 140 pounds and becomes a champion at 140 pounds. Not a good performance. Many people thought he shouldn't have got that they stopped the fight too early on Ismael Barrosa, but it does not change the fact that that Rolly Romero became a world champion at 140. Then Isaac Cruz, who Gervonta Davis beat at 135, moved up to 140, and he won the WBA world title by beating Rolly Romero. So now we are at a total of 3 people that Gervonta Davis beat at smaller weight classes that moved up and became world champions at higher weight classes. And now, who do we have? We have Mario Barrios doing the same thing. Mario Barrios beat Yordenis Ugas, who is a former world champion for the WBA at 147. That is a weight class up from where Gervonta fought him at 140. He won an interim title, or he became our title eliminator, whatever it was. Did that at 100, and vacuum cleaner would go off in the middle of the video. You're gonna have to live with that one. Mario Barrios moves up to 147 pounds, beats Yordenis Ugas, and then becomes, after Terence Crawford moves up to 154 and is put in the championship in recess, he becomes the world champion at a 147, which means that is the fourth guy that has happened with. You are not going to find that with, I do believe, anybody else. You're not going to find that with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is very hard for me to. Canelo Alvarez, I do not believe that anybody that he beat became a world champion after he beat him, with the exception of Gennady Golovkin. Well, Gennady Golovkin won one, but not in a weight class above. Terence Crawford, I do not believe that he has beat anybody that became a world champion at a weight class above or became a world champion after he beat him. I know that except for Ray Beltran. Ray Beltran, I do believe Terence Crawford beat Ray Beltran, and Ray Beltran became a world champion. But it's not four of them. So this fact is a major boost to the conversation about how good the competition level is for Gervonta Davis. It's one thing to say, okay, I beat a former champion, right? Like Ricardo Nunez was a former champion. Hector Garcia was a current champion in a weight class below. Leo Santa Cruz was a current champion and a former champion. And Gervonta beats them. But to beat somebody and have them go on and to once again after that prove that they are world class afterwards, you can't say this guy's not fighting anybody. So you have Frank Martin now, who Gervonta fights, and people say, well, who is Frank Martin? He's an undefeated fighter, ranked number 3 in the WBC. Just because Gervonta Davis beats him doesn't mean that you write the guy off and just say, oh, well, Gervonta Davis beat him, so he's not all that. You have to really give these dudes credit for getting in the ring with Gervonta, and Frank Martin may win. Still, that's a good fight. Looking forward to the fight. But we'll see, man. It's now, I guess there are examples of who George Kambosos beat somebody that became a world champion. That is Teofimo Lopez. You have Devin Haney beat one guy that moved on to become a world champion after that, Lomachenko, in the same weight class. But, people are real so-so on whether or not he actually won that fight or not. But anyway, man, this whole conversation about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis's resume, in my opinion, is something where that consistently gets this guy very, very, very underrated, very, very underappreciated. But this particular situation, you got to give the guy credit. Got to give the guy credit for what he does. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.